what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone is off to a fantastic week. You're getting after it and enjoying yourself a little bit. So today I'm covering something that we haven't done for quite a while within this group. I'm bringing in a guest speaker who is doing phenomenal things within her practice. Dr. B, with her ad campaigns that she recently set up, is selling a brand new plan of care every single time her ad campaign is spending $43. And right now she's getting about a 28x return on her ad spend, which is absolutely unheard of. And she has very, very limited ad experience. So what she has built, what she has set up is doing incredible things for her practice. It's keeping her staff busy. It's helping her return to pre-COVID numbers, and it's helping her cover all of her different equipment that she's leased, as well as covering her rent. So she's doing amazing things. So I thought I would bring her in here to share with all of you what has been working for her so that you can learn from her experience. You can ask your questions, and you can just discover what is possible for you and your practice. So if you're brand new to this group, make sure you smash that like and love button on this video. Make sure you say hi so you can see your name pop up. But my name is Jordan Mather. I'm the co-founder of Clinical Marketer. And for the last 8 years, we've exclusively helped physical therapy practices grow their brands online. For the last 2 of those years, we have focused exclusively on teaching practices the art of running their own ads so that they can scalably grow their own practice without relying on word of mouth or referrals, so that they can really start to grow in a way that isn't directly linked to their time. So make sure you guys say what's going on in the comments. Let me see your name pop up. Let us feel your energy, because this is a really exciting training. It's going to be insanely valuable for a lot of you that haven't really ran ads before, or have been and haven't really been able to figure it out. So you're probably in one of those 2 positions, either thinking about running ads, and this is going to be super valuable because it's going to show you what works right now, or you've tried running ads in the past and it didn't really work out. And so hopefully we're going to break down a lot of any misconceptions that you might believe about running Facebook ads and show you what actually works. And so today we're really going to be doing 3 different things. What's up, Max? Hey, Danielle. So we're going to do 3 things. Really, I'm going to bring in Dr. B to really talk about what her practice is all about, what she's been doing over the last couple months, what kind of model she's following, so you can really get to understand her and see how your story might relate to hers. Number 2 is we're going to actually go over the ad campaign that she's running that's producing these absolutely outlandish results, so that you can see what patient populations, what offers are really crushing it in the market right now, and how in the heck she's getting a 28x return on her ad spend with this campaign. Then number 3, I'm going to basically break apart her entire campaign and show you our framework for scaling practices and scaling strategies by helping her take this campaign to the next level, because having one campaign that's producing results is only the beginning. Next, it's taking the data that you receive and making sure that you're leveraging it in such a way that you're actually going to hit the goals that you set yourself when you first launch this campaign. So, John, what's going on, buddy? I love seeing you on here, man. So if you guys are ready to get Dr. B in here, comment Dr. B in the chat below, then we'll bring her in here. Bring over chat. Yeah. All right. Let's bring in Dr. Beth Winkler and Carrie King.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on, Beth?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How things been going for you?
Good.
Yeah. Carrie,
Yeah.
how are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
Doing so good. Thank you guys so much for taking the time and being willing to jump in here and share a little bit about your guys' story.
You got it.
Yeah, I know how busy you guys are, so thank you so much for doing this, really. So basically, what I want to do with the 2 of you today is, one, I want to you to share a little bit of your story so that other people can kind of see themselves within your story. But then most importantly is I want to go over your ad campaign and what it's been doing so far, and make sure that you have a detailed action plan to make sure that it continues to trend in the right direction, because we all know it. We teach it within our program that no matter how successful a campaign is, eventually it will slow down and fatigue if you don't take proper action. So I just want to make sure that you have that action plan in place by the end of the call today.
Cool. Yeah, same here.
Perfect. Okay, so kind of number 1, can you just Beth, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Magnolia Physical Therapy?
Yeah, so my name is Beth Winkler. I'm the co-founder of Magnolia Physical Therapy. We've been around since, actually we opened our clinic 1 month prior to Hurricane Katrina here in New Orleans. So we made it through COVID. Yeah. So we started, doing a lot of mail, like direct mail, like, snail mail. And that's really how we grew our practice. And then obviously there was a shift that started where people were more online and not so interested in getting, snail mail. And it was very, very costly. So we really knew we needed to make the switch over. And it's very scary because, mail is how we really grew our most of our practice. I mean, the obvious connections with doctors and past patients, but, mailing to doctors and our past patients was like a big thing for us. So we hired a couple of, marketing firms to help us, and we were just spending so much money for very little return. And it was costing, like Carrie and our team that was working, helping them do that. It was, she's like, if I knew how to do this, it would just take me just as much time because I'm constantly having to, look at the ads and fix spelling errors or fix this, or, you know what I mean? There is still a constant upkeep with that. So when I found Clinical Marketer, I was like, I think this is the thing because we can teach ourselves how to do it, learn how to do it ourselves and monitor it ourselves and have more control over it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so tell us a little bit more about, are you a cash pay? Are you an insurance model? And what kind of patient populations are you working with?
Yeah, so we have, our clinics are a little bit different. We have four clinics, and one is a very mixture of kind of, it's really a lot, they're all different. Our Elmwood location is more an older population, a geriatric population, and then our Marigny clinic is more a younger, very diverse mix of veterans and kind of that middle age to low, injuries with running, sports, things like that. So it's kind of a mix with that. We do accept insurance. We have, there are 1 or 2 major plans that we don't accept. So we have had a lot of experience with getting patients to convert to cash. So I would say our cash pay is about 10%. So it's not a huge portion, which, that does help our conversion rate, that lead to conversion rate when we do accept their insurance, because it's a less barrier of entry. So that's good.
Right. On top of like the sales training we give you, I mean, it's pretty much all designed for cash pay, which generally has a little bit more resistance. So yeah, it's nice when you can almost have that like opt out. It's like, oh, we take your insurance. You don't even have to worry about any of it.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, super helpful.
Right. So you said that your running mailers, they kind of slow down a little bit, at least in with some of your practices, and you tried a few other marketing groups, but what are some of the other big challenges that you were facing inside your practice that ultimately led you to seek us out and decide to pull the trigger? What was keeping you stuck?
I would say the ability to, I call it, this is probably not the technical term that y'all use, but turning the faucet on and off. It was like we were having a hard time, at least right when the pandemic kind of, died down a little bit and patients started returning. We had a hard time finding therapists. So we had, a 3-4 week waiting list, and then we hired all the therapists, and it's like, so being able to adjust that when we have a low census or, low census of therapists versus like we just hired 5. So it's like we need to blast, a blast of new patients right now. So
also being able to change which location we want to target is super helpful, because sometimes we'll have one of our clinics is doing really well and the other one's kind of slacking off. So we're like, okay, we focus on this area in New Orleans. This neighborhood is what needs, we need the patients there. Then we, before we were having other people run our ads for us, and there were like spelling errors and landing page errors, but it wasn't in our control at that point. So it was just a lot more complicated.
Yeah. So I would say having control. It was the biggest part of it, because we have
None
the
of people
manpower. We have amazing people like Carrie to implement this stuff. So it's like, let's do it ourselves.
Carrie definitely makes our job pretty darn simple because I mean, you ask all the right questions and you show up to work every single day when we do jump on calls, which definitely makes everything a heck of a lot easier. And Carrie, I'm sorry, but could you introduce yourself real quick, just so everyone has a little bit of context?
Yeah, my name is Carrie King. I have been with Magnolia I make 4 years this month actually. And I actually started out as a technician and then I moved into finance and then they recruited me into marketing. So this is kind of a new area for me, but I've been doing it for a year and it's been really fun and it's a lot more fun than worrying about people's money.
Right. Yeah, she was calling insurance companies and that kind of stuff. So it's the total opposite of that.
Yeah.
And this is your favorite part of the job now, right? I love it.
I do. I love doing this. This is so much better than waiting on the phone for an insurance company to give me an answer I don't want.
Right.
So very, very quickly, so I want to get to the ads and the meat that everyone, really wants us to get into. But what has been your experience so far, working with us, and what have you learned that has made the biggest impact? Like what's the biggest thing that you learned so far?
I think for me is really like being able to turn those ads on and off and be able to, Carrie is the one that physically knows how to do it. I'm like, can you do this? And so I'm still like haven't finished all the modules, full disclosure, but to be able to turn that on and off and then just to see directly like what's coming in, because before we have a CRM that, kind of counts all the leads that come in, but it's still manual. This is like right when it comes in, it's like you can see it and I can go in and look at it without bugging Carrie and be like, how many Facebook leads did we get today? You know what I mean? So it's as an owner, it's very valuable to be able to directly be able to see. And then also when I ask my CFO, who's my partner, she holds all the money. So when I ask her, like, look, we need more for Facebook ads, I have a direct return on investment. Like, this is how much we spent. This is what we got. If we spend double the amount, then we're going to get, that much more new cases. So it's very easy. I wouldn't say very easy. It's still not easy, but it's easier to get the money allocated to what we need.
Yeah. I like trying to come up with offers too. It kind of like, I don't know, gets us out of our comfort zone and puts us in a position where we have to come up with an awesome offer that, patients don't want to pass up. So I like kind of brainstorming and coming up with new ideas, and that's fun.
That's definitely my favorite part. I mean, offer creation to me, it's kind of like Jedi mind tricks, because the way you talk about something completely changes how people perceive what that thing is. And just by kind of putting like a metaphorical bow on what you're already selling, works so much better. So totally agree there. Tell me, you guys got started doing a lot of the sales training stuff with your whole team, right?
We did, yeah. So, what we did is we have a patient compliance training that we already put everybody through, our whole sales team. Yeah. But what we learned from clinical marketer was just I think taking that to the next level. Really, I think what we weren't doing is spending enough time or a lot of time on the phone with patients when they first call in, and really creating that connection, because it's easy when you've got hopefully a lot of people calling in. But creating that connection, and it's the repeat back, okay, let me get this straight, because patients aren't really heard. So I think with the team that's scheduling them, it also just elevates their purpose too, because it's you're really getting to know this person, and if you get them to commit to the care, then they're going to get the help that they need. So and creating that patient connection.
Yeah, and you're their first point of contact. So if they have a good experience with you, then it kind of just sets up a good experience overall.
Totally. And I think that's something that a lot of people really struggle with, because I always get pushback when some people say, I would love to be able to talk to people a little bit longer, but then my phones are held up and I'm missing calls. Did you struggle with that at all? And, how, now that you've kind of adjusted to ask more of these questions, how long are the calls? Do you know?
What would you say, Carrie?
It depends. Some people are in a rush to get off the phone, but if you can have a solid conversation with them, sometimes it can be 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe more, depending on how talkative they are.
Or how old they are.
Yeah.
Listen,
The older they are, is directly proportioned to the time they spend on the phone with you.
20 minutes later, and I've already missed 3 calls. I'm like, okay.
But we're pretty early into the process. I mean, we've only been working together for hardly a month, but has asking those questions had, and spending the little extra time on those calls, has it had a positive impact so far?
I think it has. Yeah.
Difference? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we, even since doing that training, I mean, we also had a kind of a switch in, a team member had left. So our director is doing all the calls. Yeah. So which is good for now because she's learning how to do it. So when we train somebody new, obviously we'll send them through this, but our percentage of arrivals for new patients has been what, last week it was 94%, which is like,
yeah, it's been consistently in the 90s, which is crazy because here in Louisiana, we've gotten like huge rain showers every single day for the last like 2 months. So that's
don't come out in the rain here.
Yeah, no.
It's so weird.
Well, I'm super happy to hear that. I mean, definitely we have some people in New Jersey who are still getting hit by, hammered with storms, and they're all super slow right now. So I'm super glad to hear that the offer you've put together is, enticing enough to get people out of the house and still coming in. That's super good to hear.
Yeah. We actually just converted another healthy hip assessment to an eval this morning, right before we got on this call. So that's
oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
So how much do you know how much revenue that you've pulled in since joining us then so far? What does that put it at?
Yeah, actually, let me calculate that real quick. So, because we got 6 leads from our 6 to a full plan of care from our healthy hip assessment,
7 now.
and then 3 of those we had 3 healthy hip assessments that didn't convert, except the one this morning did convert. So that's actually 7, which is like times 1550, which is so that's like almost 11,000 just from that campaign.
Yeah, alone. And that's the only one we've run. We're about to start a new one today, or an additional one today for diagnostics. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. We did that text campaign, which yielded 3 converted plans of care from past patients.
Nice. The reactivation brought in 3 extras.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And I know that was a case study. So how would you say that went? I mean, 3's good. I mean, more is always better, but would you say it was worth it having, all those additional conversations?
Yeah. So what I would do next time is, for some reason it like activated, I always put the cart before the horse, but as soon as I uploaded the contacts, it like emailed everybody, I texted everyone at like 7:55 on a Monday morning. And I was like, but so there were a ton of conversations happening, like a lot. So it was, I feel if we would have been more prepared, that we could have followed up with the conversations. I think some went a little dormant for too long. And then, of course, the longer you go. So we kind of decided that 30-minute, of course, if you can't get back right, immediately would be better. But a 30-minute window was a higher conversion rate. Yeah. And then what I think we might do is just sprinkle that out throughout the weeks, like set them up to where like maybe 50 go out every week, and we have one person dedicated to, to answering all of those texts. But it's I think it's going to be awesome because we used to have one person just calling past patients, and we kind of eliminated that position. So it's been hard for us to, you know what I mean? Like, I think the text is a nice way to be able to keep in touch with them without, I mean, of course we want to call and get that connection, but this is nice.
Right. It's definitely a really good touch point because you obviously had a ton of people who said like, no, I don't need anything right now, but like, thank you so much for reaching out, which obviously goes a long way. But how many of those texts did you send out the first time around? Was it like 250?
I think it was about 250.
Wow, that's kind of okay. So
yeah.
Next time we'll definitely drip those out over.
Yeah. I also sent it out to current patients too, which was not, lesson learned, but it was good because we were like, oh, I'm doing great. I have an appointment this afternoon. Thanks, Kelly. And who are you, Kelly? Kind of thing. But
most of the responses were good. I mean, even if they want to come back in, they were like super grateful that we were reaching out at all to check on them. So
yeah. So I think it just even though we only converted 3, I feel like it creates a a good rapport. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they checked in on me. If I'm having this kind of pain, I'm definitely going to go back in. So
yeah, it'd be interesting to test instead of a kind of a conversation style. Next time, doing more of a direct offer that they have, like saying, we have, X number of slots available next week. How would you like a, $67 runner's assessment, something along those lines, and then having being a little bit more automated, so they click on something and book right away. But we can test that next time, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, so super excited to hear about covering the cost of the program and everything's going well. So let's talk a little bit more about this campaign that's obviously performing super well this early in the game and how we can keep it going. So walk us through the campaign structure that you guys have right now. Who's the avatar? What's the offer? That sort of thing.
Carrie, I'm gonna let you answer
Defer.
that. She's the
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't know if you were going to pull it up. So yeah, we are doing a healthy hip campaign. So we're offering 50% off. It's a $55 assessment for women ages 35 to 55. And we're focusing on 2 of our clinics right now.
Nice. Okay. And obviously that's doing pretty good. What's how many leads are you getting and how many of those leads are you actually getting a hold of?
Well, let me look at our thing here.
Let me I'll share my screen and let people check this out. Do you guys want to see the actual ads that they're running? What's going on, Tara? Max, Brian, Dan, good seeing all of you on here. Yeah, if you guys want to see the ads, just let me know and I can pull those up and share them. Okay, so you decided to go with hip. I noticed that you're only marketing towards hip right now. What was the rationale behind that decision?
I feel like we get most of our clientele, like most of our female clientele is better with commitment for PT. And that's just something that we treat a lot. So that was our first go.
Also our core customer is basically my business partner. She's like the type of if anything limits her from exercising or working out, she's going to get it fixed. She'll be there first patient, 7 a.m., 3 days a week. And both her and I were having hip issues too. I was like, all right, if we're both having these and we're active, there are going to be a lot more people out there. So that's kind of what we went with.
Which is perfect. It's always so helpful when you're your own avatar. So one of the suggestions I'm going to have when we get into kind of like phase 3 of this, when we're kind of going over next steps, is definitely coming up with new relatability statements. Just talking about the pain that you're having and getting super specific and having some fun with it. Because obviously the messaging that we already have within, our Ads Hall of Fame works pretty well. But we preach, no one knows your patients better than you do, especially when you are your own patient. So we'll come up with some new messaging around that as well.
Cool.
Okay, so everyone wants to check out the ads. So I'm going to share them real quick. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so the ads that we are running are pretty basic. I mean, there's nothing crazy about this. I'm totally comfortable sharing this with all you guys because everything that makes this system work is behind the scenes and in how we structure the actual campaign itself. So you can feel free to copy this as much as you guys want. The copy works very well. So feel free to snag it. But tell me, which one of these ads are doing the best? Do you know?
I believe it was the one of me running with the dog.
Yeah, Carrie running with the dog. Yeah.
You guys talked about animals, doing the most. So I grabbed my dog and went for a run.
And that's exactly what you got to do. I mean, no matter what, in every industry we've ran ads in, photos with dogs have always worked better. It has worked better than with cats. So I don't know if that's evidence that dogs are cats, but it might be. So for this image, another thing that might be making this work really well, do you know if it's this one or the one with this red spot?
The one with the red, we actually just added, I think maybe it's been a week now. So I think the original one was doing the best, but I haven't looked at this one yet since we changed it. It's only been a couple of days. I don't even know if it's been a full week yet.
Yeah, something worth noting for everyone who's watching, like none of these photos are super professional. They're not photoshopped. They're just regular photos. They're nice photos. That's a key thing. They have to still be good photos, but they have to look like something that would just look like something that would get uploaded on the newsfeed, something that belongs there. Because otherwise, if it smells like an ad, people are just going to scroll past it. I think this is going to do really well because I learned this trick that's been working really well for us. If you have all your different creative options up on a screen, you close your eyes and then you open them like only a little bit and squint. Whichever one catches your eye, that's usually the one that's going to perform the best. Because obviously the image's only job is to stop the scroll. That's a really easy way to figure out which thing draws your eye the fastest. So these look great. The offer is a $55 healthy hip assessment or hip pain consultation. Is this the same across all the ads?
Yeah, I think the relatability question is different, but what's included is the same. The Google reviews are the same.
Nice. Okay. So tell me, a lot of people do this differently. So are you doing a paid discovery visit or are you actually doing the full evaluation on these visits?
It's a discovery. Like, go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. It's a discovery visit, but what we're finding is once the patient calls and they go to book the discovery because we take insurance, that we were able to convert 6 of them just straight to a full plan of care.
Nice.
And then 3 scheduled for the healthy hip assessment. And I think, was this the first one we saw this morning, or I can't remember if we had any other healthy hip assessments that did or did not convert.
I think we had 2 others that one of them converted, and then she found out she had a really high deductible when she came in for her eval and didn't stay.
Gotcha.
And one of them converted this morning, and then I think the other one maybe didn't convert because she just wasn't.
I think it's still being scheduled, maybe. Like, I think she's scheduled a few weeks out.
Maybe so.
That was the one that came in on the wrong day. I don't know. So yeah.
Got it. So once you get them on the phone, just make sure that I understand this correctly. You're having your front office kind of go through the normal sales consultation, asking them the questions. And if you do take their insurance, do you book them on a plan of care directly over the phone, or do you wait for that first visit?
No, we try to convert them right then and there. So we say, they're like, okay, you have a $55 assessment. And if our, it's usually our central schedule that is doing that. And she'll say, do you have insurance? And if the patient says yes, she's like, well, let me know what insurance you have, because we might be able to book you through like a regular full hour evaluation. And it might even be cheaper than this assessment.
Nice.
And then she gets them converted for a full, for that eval. And then they convert to a full plan of care.
Nice. Okay. So it goes from ad to first phone call, consultation, insurance, basically sell them on a full evaluation, have that visit, and then during that visit, you sell them on the full plan of care.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. That's a really good approach to doing it. We have some people who are just, even doing it where they do, instead of a paid discovery visit, they do the discounted evaluation, and they're still seeing like tremendous conversion numbers. So that's really strong way. If you guys are doing insurance, that's a really, really good way to do it. So let's get into putting together your action plan for kind of making sure that these stay on track. So can we just do a quick update on what your numbers are, so we can accurately figure out what you need to be spending, and some of the other ad adjustments that we might want to do?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just do the whole campaign since you joined. So you kind of joined halfway through June, right?
Yeah.
Or got your ads started halfway through June at least. So what is your average plan of care cost, or average?
$15.50.
$15.50. Okay. And how much have you spent on ads since you got rolling with us?
I want to say it's right around 300. I don't have the exact number just because
Okay.
my computer is awful today, but
No worries.
but it's like right around 300.
Okay, nice. And how many leads have been generated?
Good question.
Total, I think, is about 15.
15.
We can
I know
ballpark
it's
it.
in our app.
Well,
Yeah.
just remember to circle back and fill it out just so it'll be a little bit more accurate then. But you're doing a $55 voucher, correct?
Yep.
Mhm.
And how many of these 15 leads actually booked initials?
So that would be 7.
7. Beautiful. Okay. And then how many of those 7 actually came in and completed?
Well, let me rephrase that. Let's see. So 7 of them are full plans of care.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Like, yeah.
But I think we booked 12 of those leads for either
Thank
an
you.
email or an assessment.
Nice. Okay, so this was, let's just say that was 12. 12
Yeah.
initials completed and 7 converted into plans of care.
Yep.
That is incredible. And so right now I would just, the only number that I want to verify, and we don't have to do that today, is this ad spend number. Because obviously right now, based off of these numbers that you hit, if you only spent $300 and you converted 7 plans of care, like your return on your ad spend is so much crazier than I had already thought that it was, because 28x return is crazy. Okay, this is definitely some outlier results, especially with the campaign that's so new. But we still get to capitalize on its numbers all the same. So how many evals would you like to get a week?
I would like 10.
10?
That's what I was going to say, 10.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, what number am I missing here? D21 divided by D18. I don't know why we're getting broken budget here. Hold on, let me try. Oh, that's why. Oh man, maybe that spreadsheet's broken. So let's try plugging it into this one. So this is your old profitability tracker. So you want to get 10. It's fantastic. Let's convert this to 7. And you spent, is this the right number? Because that's pretty dang close to 300.
I know at the end of it was about 206 before last week. So
I would imagine this is at least probably at like 350 by now, especially because you guys are, what are you spending a day right now?
15.
15. Okay. So you're definitely close to this 350 range. So you're right about the same. So based on those numbers, if you're trying to get to 10 evals per week right now with the conversion rates that you have. So let's say you've completed actually 12 of those. Okay. So right now, in order to hit this number, just from your Facebook ads alone, if you're spending about $583 a week, your current campaigns will get you there. And so right now, if you're spending $15 a day, you definitely don't want to jump up to 83 right away. Okay. So especially make sure your CFO is comfortable with it. That she might kind of be a little pulled back by that. But
I'll ask for forgiveness later.
Right.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, the way that you should do it, she might actually feel super comfortable with. So something that a lot of you watching might not know, that if you have a campaign that's doing really well and you decide, okay, I'm getting $29 for every $1 I'm putting in this campaign, I'm going to just start spending $100 a day. That is most likely going to actually break your campaign and ruin the progress that you've made so far. So anytime within your Facebook campaign, if you increase the budget by more than 20%, it's going to make Facebook re-enter the learning phase essentially and forget everything that it just learned about your campaign, about which people are most likely to opt in, and making sure that it's showing your ads to the right people. And so in order to allow Facebook to continue to leverage information that it's already learned from your campaign, we have to make incremental changes to the budget by 20% every other day. And so if you're spending $15 a day, you're going to increase that to about like $18 a day, I think would be 20%. Yeah, $18 a day. And so what I would do, I mean, this campaign is crazy. So I would increase it to $18 a day if you haven't already increased the budget. And then you basically want to gradually do this and make sure the campaign doesn't break as you're scaling it up. And so that's a way that your CFO might feel really comfortable with it, because obviously you're going to keep a pretty close eye on this to make sure the numbers are holding up as you scale it up, and that you should feel comfortable with.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you said that, because we were talking about, I think, doubling our daily budget in the next quarter. So it's nice to know that we don't have to double it. We can just go up a little bit at a time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So like every other day?
Yeah, every other day.
Okay.
So one way you can do it, if you're impatient, like we are sometimes we don't want to wait that long. Sometimes we'll instead clone the entire campaign and then just make the budget start out at whatever we feel like spending. And so it'll obviously start over the learning phase, but you're going to learn very quickly if it's still working, because you have a higher budget, you're going to get data faster. But for this particular campaign, I would recommend starting out by just moving it to 18 and slowly scaling it over the next couple weeks.
Okay.
Yes. So another thing that you're going to want to do, because once you start getting up into, spending the 30, 50, up to $100 a day, you're going to need to give Facebook more stuff to play with. Otherwise, the same ads are going to be shown to the same people, multitudes of times, and your frequency is going to go up, which is going to start to drive up, the cost of your ads altogether. So you're going to want to make sure that you add in more creatives. You're going to want to sit down with your CFO and talk about new potential relatability statements that you can start putting in there. Basically, you're creating a bigger of a machine, which requires more fuel. And so you got to make sure that you're adding in those things. So I would try to every single week have a goal of at least finding or creating one new image to add to your campaign to give Facebook something to play with.
Okay.
The relatability statements definitely don't need to be tested as much, but basically go in and find, if this is the image that's in the messaging that's doing the best, I would clone the ad that's doing the best, and then just change the image. Okay, and do that once a week.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing that could significantly start to, make this even better is working in at least 2 other patient avatars, because there's certain times in the day where maybe the hip is slowing down. And if you had those other avatars in there, the way we structure it, it would rotate in those other populations during that time.
Mm.
And so there's basically downtime on your campaign with no other, avatar to fill that gap.
Gotcha.
Okay. And so if you want guidance on which ones you want to go to, we can kind of sidebar about that, and we can obviously give you the ads that are working for those other areas.
Okay. Yeah, that would be awesome. We have another avatar that we're using because we do diagnostic ultrasound and EMGs.
Nice.
So we were going to do one for shoulder ultrasound.
Yeah.
And see how that goes, because once they come in for the ultrasound, then the therapist who does the ultrasounds can convert them to a plan of care.
Oh yeah.
So it's like they get, they pay for the ultrasound, and then.
Yeah, we have some really good copy around, different technology add-ons to what we're currently running. I think would do really well for that, especially different EMG technologies. Do you use them for any particular population? We ran them for runners, which is like a cheat code practically, but what do you use them for the most part?
It really depends. Right now, what we're just doing the ultrasound and EMGs, we're referring our internal patients. So we haven't really marketed it outside or promoted it outside of our company. But there are obviously some that are better than others, like the shoulder for an ultrasound, you can see a lot more. So I think, I'd hate to have someone come in like for an ankle and then be like, oh, we can't see that, you need to go get an MRI. So I think we're going to really just start with the shoulders, because that has been proven to be like more, you can see more than an MRI actually. So that's kind of cool. And then like for the EMG, like diabetics, that's a big one. but also like radiculopathy and a lot of lower extremity radiculopathy.
Perfect. Yeah, and we're more than happy to help you come up with the messaging around those things. Starting off with your shoulder is a really good way to go about it. But I mean, hip is one of our top performing campaigns across the board, but shoulder is by far our number one. There hasn't been a single person that we've set up with our shoulder system that's not the top performer within their revolver campaign. So that's, I would almost say, start that one as a separate campaign instead of adding it into the campaign you already have, just because.
Yeah, that's what I was actually just about to ask you, is what you recommended for that.
So yeah, I would just scale up the hip campaign, start another campaign, and maybe put the revolver in its own separate campaign and let hip keep doing its thing.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Any questions for me on any stuff, or are there any other process things that I might be able to help you out with today?
Actually, you just answered my question without even me asking. So
yeah, what do you suggest, as far as it's like 3 to 4, a good amount of like different avatars to have? Like, I know we have our hip, maybe I'm getting the terminology mixed up, but we've got our hip and then we've got like the 3 different pictures there, right? And then we'll have the ultrasound with that. Is even having a third one? Like, what do you recommend?
We typically recommend, especially at the $15 a day budget, having 3 different patient populations that you're going after.
Gotcha.
Yep. So
okay.
I don't want to give away too much of how we like structure the campaigns themselves, but I think Carrie knows what I'm talking about. Just
yeah.
As you scale up, like if you're spending $50 to $80 a day, then you can work in 6. It totally depends on how much you're willing to spend every day, but 15, keep to 3.
Gotcha. Okay.
Excellent. Well, thank you both so much for jumping on here.
Yeah.
It really means a lot. I know how busy you all are. So what are the next steps for Magnolia? Obviously, you're trying to get to 10 new evals a week, but what's the next steps?
Yeah, so we have one of our clinics that's fully staffed. So we want to get those therapists busy. But then we have a newer clinic that we had just bought previous to COVID that has the capability of 4 to 5 clinicians in there, and we only have 1 right now. So our next goal is to really try to market that, promote that area and get just have more clinic efficiency. You know what I mean? Like, we have so much space there that is not being used.
Excellent. Well, it's
yeah.
It sounds like you're gonna probably duplicate these campaigns across those different locations. Is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just don't have a therapist there yet. So we need to get, we need to hire. So yeah.
Well, let
us know. Space, but not the people.
We'll help you duplicate those campaigns. Obviously, the whole back end part that makes the ads work, that can be a little bit intimidating to start to clone and duplicate across locations. So just let us know when you're ready, and we'll get Hannah or any of our other client success people on there to help support you with that.
Okay, awesome.
So for anyone who would be interested or wondering if it'd be worth working with us, because we have a lot of people on the fence, any advice, guidance for them?
No, I just do it. Just do it, because you're gonna. I mean, it's to be able to know how to do this yourself. I mean, the initial process can be a little, there's a lot of information, but Jordan and Max have been there to help us out. And I can see this not just working for clinics, but like any new service that we offer, massage therapy, which we offer, especially our diagnostics program, is just being able to, this is the most effective thing that I've found to be able to turn that faucet on and off. So
yeah,
do it.
Well,
especially if you're a control freak like me.
Well, we absolutely love working with you both, and of course, are here for you every step of the way. So if there's anything that you need, either on the ad side or from a systems and sales side, obviously let us know. And if there's ever anything that we can't help you with, obviously we know a few people, and we can find someone to support you. But thank you both.
That's true.
Just keep me posted if there's anything I can do for you. Okay.
Will do.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Yep. Have a great
Bye.
day.
You too. Bye.
Excellent. Well, everyone, make sure that you thank Dr. B or Beth and Carrie for being here. Drop their names in the comment. The fact that they're willing to take time out of their honestly ludicrously busy day to share a lot of this stuff with you really means a lot to me. So make sure that you thank them. So if there's any of you who are curious about, what it might look like to work with us, or, can't really figure out how to break past whatever income and revenue barrier you might be stuck at, I want you to comment game plan in the chat below. And basically what's going to happen is one of our ad specialists is going to reach out to you. They have nothing to sell you, so don't worry about bringing your credit card or anything like that. Basically, the only goal of this game plan call is to figure out where you're at within your business, where it is you're trying to get to, what challenges you might be running into that are preventing you from achieving that. Okay, and then we have countless trainings and resources available that we can give to you that are absolutely free to help you break through that barrier and help you find the answers that you're looking for. And if, and only if, you guys gelled really well and they're super confident that our program can help you get that result faster and more efficiently, then they'll set you up a call with me. And then you and I can have an honest discussion, sit down like we're old friends sitting around having a beer, and we can have an honest discussion about what is the best thing that you can do for yourself to hit that result. And if our program is, going to be the thing that's a good fit for you. And so this is a super laid back scenario. All we want to do is help you and make sure that if one of our resources can help you break through that barrier, we want to get that in your hands. And so if you're interested in setting up a call with us and figuring out what it kind of feels like to be part of the clinical marketer team, comment game plan, and one of our ad account specialists will follow up with you to schedule that call. But everybody, thank you so much for being here today. Brian, Dan, Cameron, super good to see you on here, man. It's been a while. Seamus, super happy to have you all here. Seamus asks, how many visits do you include in the full plan of care? I should have asked, if my memory serves me properly, I believe it's 8. It might be 10. I'm pretty sure it's 8 to 10, Seamus. I'll follow up with her and ask for you. But everyone, thank you so much for being here. Happy Tuesday. Moving forward, all of our live streams will be on Monday. We had to kind of shift things around this week, but starting next week, all live streams will be at Monday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. But thank you all so much for making time on your day to be here. Have a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye.